Have you ever pulled a container of leftovers from the fridge, tossed it in the microwave, and thought you were making a smart, time-saving, even healthy choice? It's a habit most of us have done dozens, if not hundreds of times. But what if I told you that some of those reheated meals could be quietly working against your health? That behind the convenience, you might be introducing compounds into your body that can increase your risk of cancer, impair brain function, or weaken your immune system? You might be thinking, seriously? Just from reheating food? Yes, because under the surface of everyday kitchen practices lies a web of subtle chemical transformations. These transformations can take a seemingly innocent meal and make it a source of silent, long-term harm. And the truth is, many of these risks aren't common knowledge, but they should be. Today we're going to unpack 5 common foods that health experts and scientific studies consistently warn against reheating. These aren't obscure or exotic ingredients. These are staples, foods you probably have in your fridge right now. By the end of this video, you'll not only know what these foods are, but you'll also understand exactly what happens inside them when they're reheated, why it matters for your body, and most importantly, how to protect yourself without giving up the foods you love. Before we dive in, I'd really appreciate it if you take a second to like this video. It helps support this channel's mission to bring important, science-backed health information directly to you. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss more content designed to help you live smarter, feel stronger, and age healthier. Comment number 1 below if you're ready to uncover some surprising truths about your kitchen habits. Number 1. Reheated spinach. Spinach is often celebrated as a superfood, and for good reason. It's rich in vitamin A, vitamin K, iron, fiber, and antioxidants. Whether it's blended into smoothies, sautéed into stir-fries, or added to soups and salads, spinach is a beloved nutrient-dense green. But what most people don't realize is that this leafy powerhouse has a hidden side, one that only reveals itself when it's cooked, stored, and then reheated. The reason comes down to something naturally found in spinach: nitrates. In their natural state, nitrates are actually beneficial. They support blood flow, help reduce blood pressure, and can even enhance athletic performance. But when cooked spinach is stored and later reheated, especially at high temperatures or in a microwave, those harmless nitrates can break down. First, they convert into nitrites. Then, under the heat of reheating, nitrites can transform into nitrosamines. And nitrosamines are compounds that have been widely studied and repeatedly linked to cancer development, especially in the gastrointestinal tract. What makes nitrosamines so dangerous is how stealthy they are. They're invisible, odorless, tasteless, and they build up in your body over time. You might reheat spinach once or twice a week and think nothing of it. But over months or years, the repeated exposure to these compounds could gradually undermine your health. And the risk doesn't stop there. Emerging research suggests that nitrosamines don't just affect the gut. They may also contribute to oxidative stress in the brain, increase inflammation, and potentially accelerate age-related cognitive decline. For older adults whose systems are already more vulnerable to environmental stressors, this matters even more. Let's imagine a typical scenario. You make a big batch of vegetable soup on Sunday, loaded with spinach. You store it in the fridge, planning to reheat portions throughout the week. On Tuesday, you reheat a bowl in the microwave and enjoy it without a second thought. But with every reheating cycle, the risk quietly increases. So what's the solution? Do you have to give up spinach entirely? Not at all. The key is in how you prepare and consume it. Whenever possible, eat spinach fresh or lightly cooked. If you've made a dish with spinach, try enjoying leftovers cold, like adding the cold spinach soup to a salad or smoothie. If you must reheat, do so gently. Use low heat on the stovetop rather than a microwave, and never reheat more than once. Also, store spinach-based dishes in the refrigerator promptly, and consume them within 1 or 2 days to reduce nitrate breakdown. By understanding this one adjustment, you can still enjoy all the benefits of spinach while protecting your body from hidden risks. Small changes add up, especially over time. If you're still watching and finding this information useful, comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. It really helps keep the conversation going and signals that this kind of content matters to you. Number 2, reheated potatoes. Potatoes are comfort food royalty. They're versatile, satisfying, and found in everything from mashed sides to hearty stews. But reheating them, especially after improper storage, can turn them into a silent threat. The danger with potatoes isn't just about nutrient loss, it's about bacteria. When potatoes are cooked, allowed to cool slowly, and then stored, particularly when wrapped in foil, they create an environment that's nearly perfect for a dangerous bacterium called Clostridium botulinum. This is the same bacterium responsible for botulism, a rare but potentially deadly illness that affects the nervous system. Here's what makes it so dangerous. This bacterium thrives in low oxygen, moist, starchy environments. Exactly the kind you create when you bake potatoes, wrap them in foil, and then refrigerate them without unwrapping. If the potatoes are then reheated improperly, the heat might not be enough to kill the bacteria or the toxin it produces. And it doesn't end there. Even when stored properly, cooked potatoes undergo a process called retrogradation. Their starches convert into something called resistant starch. In moderate amounts, resistant starch can be beneficial. It acts like fiber, supporting gut health. But when reheated, especially in a microwave or at high heat, resistant starches can degrade unevenly, potentially leading to digestive issues and bloating. Older adults in particular need to be cautious. As the immune system weakens with age, the body becomes more susceptible to bacterial toxins. Plus, the gut-brain connection means that inflammation starting in the digestive system can also affect cognitive health over time. Imagine baking a tray of potatoes for dinner. You wrap the extras in foil and toss them into the fridge. 2 days later, you reheat them quickly in the microwave. There's no visible mold, no strange smell. Everything seems fine. But what you don't see is the potential presence of bacteria or degraded starches silently stressing your system. To make potatoes safer, follow these simple tips. Cook only what you need, and if you must store leftovers, cool them rapidly and store them in airtight containers, never in foil. When reheating, use an oven or stovetop to ensure even heating. And if the potatoes have been in the fridge for more than a couple of days or have any signs of spoilage, throw them out. It's not worth the risk. By applying these precautions, you can still enjoy your favorite potato dishes without compromising your health. Number 3, reheated eggs. Eggs are a breakfast staple across cultures, prized for their high-quality protein, essential nutrients like choline and vitamin B12, and versatility. Scrambled, boiled, poached, or baked into frittatas, eggs are convenient and nutritious. But when it comes to leftovers, reheating eggs, especially using high temperatures or microwaves, can change more than just the texture. When you first cook eggs, the proteins denature, unfolding and recombining in a way that makes them easier for your body to digest. However, when you reheat already cooked eggs, especially unevenly or at very high temperatures, those proteins undergo another round of change. They become tougher, more rigid, and significantly less digestible. This is why reheated scrambled eggs often feel rubbery or dry. It's not just a culinary inconvenience. It's a sign that the protein structure has degraded, making the eggs harder for your body to break down and process. That can lead to bloating, discomfort, and reduced absorption of the nutrients you're eating the eggs for in the first place. But the bigger concern lies in the cholesterol. Eggs, particularly the yolks, are naturally high in cholesterol. When eggs are reheated, especially at high temperatures like in a microwave, that cholesterol can oxidize. Oxidized cholesterol, or oxysterols, have been studied for their potential role in promoting inflammation, damaging blood vessels, and increasing the risk of cardiovascular disease. These oxidized compounds can also affect the brain. Studies have found links between dietary oxysterols and cognitive decline, memory impairment, and even neurodegenerative diseases. As the brain becomes more vulnerable with age, the impact of these compounds becomes more pronounced. The inflammation they provoke may be subtle at first, but over time, it accumulates, contributing to long-term changes in cognition and mood. Picture this. On Sunday, you boil a batch of eggs to use throughout the week. On Wednesday morning, you microwave one for a quick breakfast. It smells fine, looks fine. But what you can't see is that the cholesterol in the yolk may have oxidized, and the proteins have lost their digestibility. Over time, these seemingly harmless choices can take a toll on your system. The good news is that there's a simple fix. If you prep eggs ahead of time, eat them cold. Add them to salads, slice them onto toast, or enjoy them as a snack. If you absolutely must reheat, do it gently. Use a stovetop over low heat and avoid multiple rounds of reheating. Always store cooked eggs in a tightly sealed container in the fridge and eat them within a few days. If an egg smells off or has any discoloration, don't risk it. Throw it away. These small adjustments in how you treat cooked eggs can make a significant difference in how your body responds. It's not just about comfort. It's about reducing invisible stress on your digestive, cardiovascular, and neurological systems. If you're still with me and finding these insights valuable, comment number 2 below. Your feedback helps me know this information matters and encourages more videos like this one. Number 4. Reheated chicken. Chicken is the go-to protein for health-conscious eaters. Lean, versatile, and packed with amino acids. It's often prepped in bulk for meal planning. But reheating chicken, particularly in the microwave, can do more than just dry it out. It can change the very nature of its proteins, and those changes could quietly sabotage your health. When chicken is first cooked, heat transforms its protein structure, making it digestible. But when you reheat it, especially with uneven or intense heat, those proteins change again. They become denser, harder to digest, and less bioavailable. Your body has to work overtime to break them down, and for older adults, that's a serious issue. As we age, our digestive enzymes decline. Our stomach acid weakens. So foods that were once easy to process can now linger in the digestive tract, leading to discomfort, inflammation, and even nutrient malabsorption. A tough, rubbery piece of reheated chicken may not seem like a big deal, but to an aging digestive system, it's a heavy load. There's another layer to this: inflammation. Reheating meat at high temperatures, especially in a microwave, can create compounds known as advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are formed when proteins and fats interact with heat, and multiple rounds of heating accelerate their formation. AGEs have been linked to systemic inflammation, insulin resistance, and even Alzheimer's disease. Inflammation doesn't just cause aches or visible swelling. It's a silent fire that weakens your body over time. It damages tissues, disrupts hormones, and wears down the immune system. Chronic inflammation is now recognized as a root cause of many modern illnesses, from heart disease and diabetes to depression and cognitive decline. Imagine this: you roast a batch of chicken breasts on Sunday. On Tuesday, you microwave one for lunch. It feels a little rubbery, maybe a bit dry, but you shrug it off. What you don't realize is that the texture change isn't just unpleasant, it's a red flag. That protein has been altered, and AGs may have formed. Your body will now have to work harder to process the meal, and over time, the burden adds up. So what should you do instead? First, avoid microwaving chicken when possible. If you need to reheat it, use the stovetop over low heat or a low temperature oven. Better yet, repurpose cold chicken in meals that don't require reheating, like wraps, salads, or cold grain bowls. And whenever possible, cook smaller portions that can be eaten fresh to reduce the need for leftovers altogether. Your digestive system, immune system, and brain will thank you. Small, consistent choices are the building blocks of long-term wellness. And sometimes, something as simple as how you reheat your protein can be the turning point. If this resonates with you, let me know in the comments by typing number 3. Your voice keeps this channel alive and thriving, and helps others see that this information matters. Number 5. Mushrooms. Earthy, flavorful, and loaded with nutrients, mushrooms are a staple in everything from stir-fries and risottos to omelets and soups. They're rich in B vitamins, antioxidants, and immune-supporting compounds like beta-glucans. But while mushrooms offer impressive health benefits, their unique composition makes them particularly sensitive to reheating. What sets mushrooms apart from most vegetables is their complex protein structure and the presence of delicate enzymes and fats. When mushrooms are freshly cooked, these elements break down in a controlled way, releasing their flavor and making nutrients more accessible. But when reheated, especially multiple times or at high heat, those same proteins and fats undergo chemical changes that can lead to digestive issues and oxidative stress. The proteins degrade into forms that are harder for the body to process, which can result in bloating, discomfort, or a heavy, sluggish feeling after eating. This might seem like a minor annoyance, but it's more concerning for older adults whose digestive efficiency naturally declines with age. A dish that once brought comfort can now quietly tax your system. Worse, the fats in mushrooms can oxidize when exposed to improper storage or reheating. Oxidized fats generate free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells, accelerate aging, and contribute to chronic diseases. This process, known as oxidative stress, is closely linked to inflammation, cardiovascular disease, and neurodegenerative conditions like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Think of it this way. You make a rich mushroom risotto for dinner and store the leftovers in the fridge. The next day, you reheat a portion in the microwave for lunch. The texture has changed. The mushrooms are rubbery or slimy. The flavor is off. These aren't just culinary disappointments. They're signs of structural and chemical degradation. With each bite, your body may be absorbing fewer nutrients and more inflammatory compounds. To avoid these risks, treat mushrooms with extra care. Store cooked mushrooms in sealed glass containers rather than plastic, which traps moisture and accelerates spoilage. When reheating, use a low-heat stovetop rather than a microwave. Better yet, enjoy mushrooms cold in dishes like grain salads, or as a side with lemon and olive oil. And if possible, only cook as much as you plan to eat in one sitting. Mushrooms are best enjoyed fresh, and your body will thank you for the mindfulness. These 5 foods, spinach, potatoes, eggs, chicken, and mushrooms, are nutritious, delicious, and incredibly common. But the way we store and reheat them can quietly shift their chemistry in ways that increase our exposure to harmful compounds, impair digestion, and strain systems we rely on to stay healthy. The real danger isn't in eating them once or twice. It's in the habit, the repetition, the slow, subtle accumulation of compounds like nitrosamines, oxidized cholesterol, bacterial toxins, AGEs, and free radicals. It's how these things work quietly behind the scenes, changing your gut health, impacting your cognition, weakening your immunity, without obvious symptoms until the damage is done. But the real power lies in awareness. Once you understand the risks, you can take simple, effective actions to protect yourself. Eat these foods fresh when possible. Store them properly. Use gentle reheating methods. And perhaps most importantly, question the small, routine kitchen habits you've never thought twice about. Because the smallest changes often bring the biggest benefits over time. Choosing to eat that leftover egg cold. Reheating chicken gently instead of zapping it in the microwave. Storing potatoes in airtight containers instead of foil. These might seem like small details, but health is built on the details, on patterns, on what we do every day without thinking. So the next time you open your fridge and reach for leftovers, take a moment. Think about how you'll reheat them, or whether you need to reheat them at all. That moment of pause could be the beginning of a stronger gut, a clearer mind, and a healthier future. As we come to the end of this exploration into what happens when we reheat our food, I want to thank you for giving your time and attention to something that truly matters. Your body works hard for you every day, and by making more mindful choices, by asking better questions about what you eat and how you prepare it, you're giving something back. You're telling your body, I've got your back. Now I'd love to hear from you. What part of this video surprised you the most? Was it the risk of reheating spinach? The bacterial concerns with potatoes? The cognitive effects tied to eggs or chicken? Or maybe something about mushrooms you never considered before? Leave a comment below and share what you learned and how you plan to bring it into practice. When you comment, you're not just helping this channel. You're helping others who come here looking for answers. You're building a community of people who care about their health, their energy, their minds, and their longevity. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more science-backed, no-fluff content that empowers you to take control of your wellness. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.